Good afternoon. Today's conversation is around being comfortable, being uncomfortable, or being comfortable with the discomfort of not knowing. My example is 99% of things we're working in. I mean, right now we talk AI, we talk blockchain, we talk all these technologies. These are new concepts. Need to solve a immediate problem, need to address whatever someone is going through. Level, just from your end, how has the journey of being uncomfortable most of the time, how have you coped with it?
Okay. I think I've coped with it very well because when I find myself in these situations, I am able to step back a bit and try to strategize on how I will be able to navigate through the uncomfortable situations that I'm faced with. So I think for me, I am able to navigate through them very quite. I'm doing quite well with it. So yeah.
Okay. Events, you've had moments where I think you seem or look comfortable. Are you always?
No. I'm not always comfortable, but when you see it for the first time, you think, this thing is too much for me. I'm not going to cope. But as you try to see or try to engage with it, you find yourself being comfortable along the way. And you'll never know how it happened, but you sort of now cut the way and you cut your groove back.
Okay. And new couples, I mean, I can imagine it's you guys are not doing the IT that so half of us we always had a reference point. Someone has done what we are doing before. Most of the tech that you guys are working in, yes, it may some of it has been rebranded, reshifted. However, a lot of the stuff is new. So there isn't a point of reference that you can go to and it says, oh, this is so how do you navigate that?
Reiterating Evans's point, it's scary initially finding yourself in a place where you don't know whether you're coming, you're going, or what's going on with you. And I think it's the prospect of learning something new and changing whatever the challenge that might be you might be faced with at that point in time. That is one thing that has kept me going in uncomfortable situations because you know that okay, I'll learn a new skill, but above and beyond learning a new skill, there's a problem that's going to be solved by doing all of this. So it's the prospect of knowing that something good is going to come out of this.
No, okay. Okay. So the rainbow chasing. So so events. I mean, apparently you guys chase the rainbows and you work in the clouds, metaverse, all of these new terminologies in IT. One of the things we found is that I mean, events you've been at this now. Let's call it 2 years of work, not of study. How do you advise that young person who's in matric looking to go into technology? What are the things they should look forward to? And is it as scary as we make it sound?
Initially, it looks very scary, like when you talk about technology, if I can say IT, people are scared, and you think people, when you talk about IT, people think you're gonna steal money from the bank, you're gonna hack people. That's all they think about when you talk about IT. But there are concepts in IT that anyone can do it with the right attitude and self dedication. Anyone can do it. It's not something that it's uh, looking at people from Maklala, there are people who had no IT background, but they sort of came here, applied themselves, and they are doing things. They are passing stuff that people who are in IT for years they can't pass, but with their mindset and attitude, they pass. All you have to do is to apply yourself and hope for the best.
Okay. Now, you've predominantly worked in the data space. Now that's the most, I wouldn't say scary, but also dangerous because of, similar to the guys in engineering, there's an ethic side of data that needs to be adopted. What are you finding is driving you in data? Because I can manipulate data to show me whatever I need or I want it to show me. How do you level yourself to the ethics of it?
I always make sure to look at all the possible sources that I can find
Okay.
on data specifically, because there's a lot of information, and some of it you might not know now, but as you go along, you discover using different data sources, etc. So I think by just further researching, always looking out for new concepts that were introduced, latest technology news, the way data is evolving, the way data is being used for now and in the future as well, and also the popularity of AI, machine learning. So I think just keeping in touch with all the information, the latest information based on data, I think that helps me a lot. Yeah.
Okay. And then and she touched on something that I think a while back, the gray means something in this world. A while back I did a paper around, everyone wants to talk about AI and machine learning, and back then my fight was, we have a term in IT that's garbage in, garbage out. How important is the sanitation of data to get to that? Because if I'm using AI, I'm going to a data source to tell the machine to do whatever I need it to do. What are the risks of dirty data or unsanitized data, and not sanitization as in 70% alcohol?
So essentially, with regard to what you just said about garbage in, garbage out, essentially what we feed our machines is what we will get out of it. So if our data analysts don't actually make sure that there are no duplicates, for instance, within our data, they need to ensure that the data is actually complete. Those are just like two examples from the top of my head. Then the AI will not give us what we actually want because we fed it wrong information. However, we want the right solution. So it's imperative. Data cleansing, ensuring that data is complete for the future of AI and automation as a whole.
Okay. I hear you going, and I'm caught by that. So maybe you then talk to me about the cleansing, the data, the maths, and also the integration, because that's also, Kopoto covered an area where she's talking about multiple sources. So how do we talk to, the cleansing and then obviously the integration piece as well?
So essentially, as Lebu said, there are multiple data sources where you just take all of the data and dump it to a database somewhere. Then after all that data needs to be extracted, the right parameters of the data needs to be extracted, need to be transformed, and now you load it to somewhere where you know that this data is now clean and is ready for AI or automation. So it's like if you have that database with the clean data and everything, now you sort of have a layer where you visualize all of your data so that whatever thing I want to show it to the other person, I can be able to take a visualized data and do a cube on something, then show it to the other person without compromising the data that is on the data source. Because if now you want to do analytics on that data, you're now changing more in that data. So you must make sure that the data stays data integrity. Yeah.
Okay. Then now, there's and I'm now getting to the point where we're closing this discussion. There's the automation aspect of all of this, because of, remember, I mean, not every organization or people are going to have a robot or a label and events all the time to say do X, Y, Z for me. So how does then automation now work in that space, or what does it do for us?
So the main benefit of having automation is automating, once again, mundane or repetitive tasks that don't necessarily require human intervention. It's cost effective because it's a machine, it's there. You service it every once in a while, or it's a system that you put in place when it's time for an upgrade, you click a button and we're done. We're not necessarily paying someone's salary every month to do something that can be done by technology, essentially. And I mean, data cleansing, the use of data is very important once again in all of that, because if the wrong information is used, then we won't get the outcomes that we actually wanted once more. And yeah, it makes sense because we're moving. The technology space is moving. And there's no need to be doing the same thing every day, stamping one piece of paper every day, and that's your job. You can't do that.
Hey, Nebo, integration. Hey, apparently, all of us who are old who like stamping stuff, our job, this is our job. I've done this for 20 years. Now you are taking it away. What must I do? What does this integration of yours do? What does it cover? How does it enable, help?
So with integration, it basically it integrates technological tools per se, and together they collaborate to drive a specific project. So from my experience, the different integration products that I have learned about so far include MQ, which is where it's the transferring of messaging information, data power gateway as well, where it collects data. We also have Aspera, and as well as API Connect and App Connect. So all those products, they work together to drive a specific project and to enable that automation. The automation projects are able to be successfully integrated, and they can work together.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna attempt with very little knowledge, apparently, as with stems. So you have a number of integration products.
Yes.
Some are automated. So like APIs where I connect to that particular piece and it will transfer the information. And there are areas where you dump information into a place and it transforms it, and then everyone can collect from there. And then you've got some that are used by automation. Once you trigger a process, everything comes and collects and does what it needs to do as part of a project.
Yes.
Okay. So I've covered all of those things. Now, when we started, I started off by saying being comfortable, being uncomfortable. So which areas are we going to find for each one of you? And I stop here. So I want Kgopotso to be the first to mention to us, to tell us which areas in her space are going to be the most uncomfortable going forward, but she'll be comfortable in a little while, then yourself, and then events. And I will start with you, Kgopotso.
Okay, so I'd say the integration space is still quite uncomfortable. But it's a work in progress. I've heard or seen as well the benefits of making use of integration, and because I chase rainbows, that keeps me going.
Lebo?
I agree with Kgopotso. I think with the integration space, it's a bit more broad and a bit more complex because it's a range of variety of different products. So you need to learn each individual product to perfection so that you can be able to understand the whole concept of integration. So I think with integration, so far I'm doing well, but it's still a bit uncomfortable, but eventually chasing the rainbow. Yeah.
For me, I would say the networking stuff
Okay.
because of the whole SDN stuff.
Yeah.
Then now here at Maklala we are system integrators, so we are not vendor agnostic. So I must learn how the other vendor is doing it and differentiate it with the other vendor, so that in every customer that I will get a different vendor with the customer A and customer B. So now I have to know all of the OEMs, and out of that, all of the OEMs now, if technology is moving, they are all moving and they have their way of doing that thing. So I also have to move with the trend.
I've already gotten older. So no, guys, thank you. I hope as we go on, we'll have even more conversations, and I would like to keep it conversations around tech, around what we see, and that is not a comfortable topic in itself. Okay, thank you.
Thank you.